You're standing in a town that thinks it still has time. Time to grow slowly. Time to stay human. Look down. Mud pressed into the leather of your boots. Look up. Smoke hanging in the air, thin enough to pretend it's temporary. This is Birmingham, just before it explodes. Everyone here believes the future will arrive politely, with warnings, with space to adjust. They believe change will knock before entering. It won't. What's coming will push through walls, spill into streets, and settle into lungs before anyone agrees it was invited. And the people around you? They can feel it, even if they won't admit it yet. In the early 1820s, Birmingham still avoids big words. It is not officially a city, not yet. There is no cathedral dominating the skyline, no wide river cutting the town in half like a statement.
No ancient walls to point at and say, this mattered once. What Birmingham has instead is momentum. Unmanaged, unapologetic. The population grows faster than the streets were designed for, faster than housing can keep up, faster than anyone in charge wants to publicly acknowledge. People arrive every week, men with tools, families with nothing but timing, teenagers who are told, this is where work lives now. They don't come because Birmingham is beautiful. They come because it pays. Not well, but often. Here, work repeats. That repetition creates rhythm, and rhythm creates dependence. Birmingham before the boom is a place where opportunity feels physical. You don't read about it, you inhale it. Coal dust settles on bread crusts. Metal filings cling to sleeves. Smoke becomes part of the weather. Once you breathe it in, it never fully leaves. This is the bull ring. No planning.
No symmetry, no illusions. Stalls lean where there is space. Ropes tie where nails won't hold. Animals stand close enough to food to make you nervous. Farmers from the countryside arrive before dawn, boots still clean from fields. They stand beside men whose land is already a memory. Here, you can see the transition happening in real time. Coins are weighed in hands, spent reluctantly, counted twice before leaving pockets. Prices rise quietly here, so does hunger. If meat becomes too expensive, families adjust immediately. If grain deliveries slow, you feel it by nightfall. There is no buffer, no delay. Your great-grandparents might have stood exactly where you are now, deciding whether to buy meat today or wait another week and hope nothing goes wrong. This market feeds Birmingham, but it also reveals its weaknesses. Every shortage shows first right here.
Digbeth Canal Basin, the invisible engine. Not far from the market, the noise softens. The canal waits. The water isn't clean. It doesn't need to be. Coal slides in quietly. Iron follows behind it. Timber arrives stacked and patient. Warehouses press close to the basin, brick walls almost touching the water, as if trying to listen. Nothing moves quickly here, and that's the genius of it. Before railways, this is speed. This is efficiency. Goods that once took days over broken roads now arrive with reliable slowness, predictable, dependable. Without these canals, Birmingham stays small. With them, it starts to feel crowded. Progress doesn't roar into this town. It seeps in, heavy, relentless. And once it arrives, it never fully leaves. North of the center, Birmingham shows its confidence. The Soho manufactory does not hide what it is. Brick upon brick. Windows arranged with purpose. This is not a family workshop, not a side business. This is organized labor. Work here is measured, timed, repeated. Men arrive knowing exactly where to stand, what to touch, when to leave. They gather outside at shift change. Faces still, unreadable. Skilled hands, replaceable bodies. This place teaches Birmingham something dangerous. That invention can scale. That creativity can become routine.
That routine can generate profit without asking permission. Once a town learns that lesson, it never forgets it. From here on, growth is no longer an accident. It's a plan.
Climb toward Snow Hill, and the town loosens its grip. Buildings thin, noise fades. Fields still exist here. Real ones, not just gaps waiting to be filled. Paths feel less certain. Houses stop pretending they're permanent. This land hasn't decided what it's worth yet. For now, crops still make sense. So does quiet. But stand here long enough and you feel it. Not tension between people, but between timelines. You can sense the future pushing gently, testing resistance. In a few years, this calm will be carved open. Tracks will slice through it. Hills will be cut down. But right now, Snow Hill still breathes. And Birmingham hasn't yet decided to take that breath away. Aston Road is not dramatic. That's why it matters. Carts line up quietly. Horses wait. From here, Birmingham looks manageable, almost modest. This road feeds the town with people, with goods, with expectations. Families arrive thinking they'll stay briefly, just long enough to earn, just long enough to move on. Most won't. The town absorbs them faster than it can explain itself. Behind the main streets, Birmingham tightens. Houses press together as if they were built in apology. Brick against brick, wall against wall. These are the back-to-backs. No front door that feels private. No window that opens to air that's truly yours. Families live stacked on top of one another, sharing walls, courtyards, sound, smell. Privacy becomes a rumor. Silence becomes a luxury. Laundry hangs motionless between buildings, damp longer than it should be. Children learn the geography of sickness early. So do their parents. Disease moves easily here. So does exhaustion. These houses are not designed for dignity. They are designed for demand, built quickly. Beyond the dense courts, the town roughens. Small Heath doesn't announce itself, it accumulates. Low sheds appear first, then chimneys. Then smoke learns new routes. Work spreads outward faster than planning ever could. Housing follows behind it like a shadow that never quite catches up. Metalworking yards hum with restrained energy. Tools rest between uses, never fully clean, never fully cold. This is Birmingham rehearsing its future, testing how far it can stretch without snapping. Nothing here feels temporary anymore, even if everyone insists it still is. Back in the center, stone rises with confidence. The town hall does not wait for permission. It assumes importance. Foundations laid deep, columns planned tall. This building is not about need. It's about declaration. We are not passing through. We are not provincial. We intend to matter. The irony is quiet but sharp. The city is still struggling to house its workers, still figuring out sanitation, still pretending the smoke is manageable. Yet here stands a monument to certainty. Birmingham announces itself before it fully understands itself. The River Rhea slips past almost unnoticed, small, unimpressive, easy to ignore. It powers mills quietly, carries waste quietly, keeps things moving quietly. No one builds poems around it. No one pauses to admire it. But without it, nothing here quite works. Infrastructure rarely gets credit, especially when it's invisible. At the edge, Edgbaston still resists. Fields stretch wide enough to breathe. Fences draw lines that still mean something. Here, land belongs to people who can afford patience, who can choose when change arrives. But even here, the horizon darkens. Smoke marks distance like a warning. The city presses closer every year. This is the last moment where stopping still feels possible, where expansion can still be imagined as optional. Soon, even this will be absorbed. Birmingham before the boom is not innocent. It knows exactly what it wants. It just underestimates the speed. Everything you've seen is about to accelerate. Buildings rise faster, streets tighten, housing densifies, costs climb. What feels busy now will soon feel crowded. What feels crowded will soon feel unavoidable. This is the pause. The breath before momentum becomes unstoppable. Your great-grandparents didn't know they were standing inside a turning point. Neither do the people around you now. History rarely announces itself. If you've walked these streets, tell me what I missed. And which city should we time travel to next?